As humans, we like seeing something to completion and usually to a good completion. Sometimes it's a bit easier, but it's usually the same thing. You see someone coming with issues and you're able to help them sort out those issues and go back to living a fruitful, productive life. As a human being, you sometimes need to refresh yourself for you to continue with what you're doing. So, and then also working for 13 hours is no job. I could see the board, but it took me another hour. And I think it was even less than 200 meters, but it is the terrain, and your lungs.
I would like to ask to maybe move to, now that we know about your profession, we've spoken about diabetes and patient journeys and all that. Can you just tell us about yourself, Jacky? Who are you away from wearing a white coat?
Jacky likes traveling. Travels as much as she can afford. Jacky likes cooking. Jacky likes hiking, and Jacky is a member of Rotary, so she also likes activities where she's helping and giving back to the community. So I think those are the main things I can say about myself. Yes.
So to just have a follow-up question, you mentioned hiking. So why did you start hiking? What is it that motivated you to hike? Because I mean, hiking out there is so stressful. It takes a lot. It's like a hard journey for someone to start thinking, I have to buy boots and all that.
Hiking, well, let me say it goes way back. Those years days where we lived. Our home, to get to where you'd board the matatu from our house to the main road would be a distance of 1.5 kilometers. And sometimes you wouldn't get the matatu there. Sometimes you'd have to walk an extra 1 kilometer to get. So even from a young age, you'd walk long distances. And of course, at that time, used to hate it because it is hot and you have to walk and what. And then my first hike, I know my friend will kill me, but I have to give this story. She's the one who convinced me, let us go for a hike. So I knew we were going to hang out together. And then we went for the hike and she left me. Of course, she saw someone. More of team, I've seen a man. So I will not name names. So I found myself walking alone, and I remember it was really tough. It was tough. But I remember when I finished, I found this is actually a good thing. Like, it's punishment, but it was good.
Punishment in a good way.
Punishment in a good way. And that's really with hikers. The one thing, as you're hiking, I'll never do this again. This is so bad. What am I doing? Then as soon as you come down the mountain, you're dirty, you're hot, you're what, and the first thing you're doing is planning your next hike. It is something that's very addictive. So I think I discovered that, and she's never hiked since that day. But for me, now I picked up from there, and the passion, and I try and hike as much as I can.
Okay. So I know I also hike a lot, so I know the journey and what it takes to
Team Subaru.
Oh, definitely we do that. So the other question would be, would you say hiking kind of improved your wellness, mental health, and all that, or would you say it's just for fun? As what is it that hiking added into your life as Jacky and also being a physician?
So hiking, of course, wellness, because as you hike, the first hike you do, you realize just how unfit you are, because it's a lot of leg work. So you find you're prompted to do a lot of exercise, and like I like sugary drinks, but then sometimes you want to take it, then you remember you have to hike, you have to work out. So it also helps me make life choices. Yeah,
you become disciplined.
You become disciplined because you know if you don't, you will pay on that mountain. Yeah, so it has helped a lot with some discipline. And then when you hike, the views are really good. Yeah, you see Kenya from a point where you have never seen it before. It's peaceful. The air is good out there. When you want to think, it helps you think. So so it's something that helps you center your mind, helps you recharge yourself, refresh yourself, so that, because as a human being, you sometimes need to refresh yourself for you to continue with what you're doing. So, and then also walking for 13 hours is
no joke.
It's no joke.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot.
It's a lot. So even that perseverance, that patience, and learning to stick to what you're doing. Yeah.
I would also say, if I would just comment on that, I would say it's more of mind over matter. So it actually strengthens your mind into staying in the course, because once you give up, your legs go. Yes. You basically will sleep there, and someone will come and pick you from there. So it's actually it's a very good journey, I would say, by being there and having done that and done it for
that mind over matter, especially when you're up there and you give up, but you also realize no one is going to take me down. I cannot live up here. So yeah, mind over matter. Yes.
It's very inspiring and encouraging. Maybe what has been your favorite place you've gone hiking? Have you done Mount Kenya?
Yeah. Okay, I've done Mount Kenya, Lenana. I've done Kilimanjaro. I didn't reach the top, but I reached the base camp. I want to go back to Kilimanjaro. And then these other ones here in Kenya, there's Kipipiri, Elephant Hill, Lurimeria, of course Ngong Hills and Longonot. Yeah. So I think my favorite is Elephant Hill. Yeah, because it's very
it's the toughest, but it's also the most fulfilling. And also Kinangop as well. If you combine the two.
I haven't done Kinangop yet. That should be my next one.
Now put that in your
my bucket list. Yes, I'll do Kinangop next.
So what would you say, since you like Elephant Hill, as in what would you say your record time to reach the summit? If you time yourself.
I can't even tell you. I am those people who are very slow. I take my time. Yes, I enjoy the scene. Yes,
back down.
You enjoy the scene. You try not to look like you're dying and you're breathing and you're walking up. But yeah, I can't give you a time. But usually up down maybe 8-9 hours. Yeah, I am not looking to set any records.
Unlike Team Subaru people, where they have to take 3 hours to the summit and then now another 1 hour or so.
What is your fastest time?
My fastest in Elephant Hill, I'd say it was within 2 hours to the summit.
That is
How many kilometers is this hike? So get perspective on.
It's not about the distance. It's about the terrain. Yes, the terrain is the problem, because there's a part where, like from I think Desperado to the tail,
and even
it's just like a kilometer.
Yeah,
but
it's really bad.
The terrain is steep. Yeah. So it's about the terrain, not the distance. Yeah.
And actually, all these mountains is the terrain.
Yeah.
Because if you find, you can see, like I'll give an example, like Rurimeria is not as steep, but now that journey to like a few kilometers to the summit is the steepest. So you find you'll be very fast up to here. Then now going to the summit, you now become extremely slow. And same thing goes to Makindas. Makindas is very, it's actually like walking in Karura, it's flat. So the only challenge in Makindas is now altitude sickness. So you reach somewhere and your lungs just decide I'm not working.
They just give up.
It gives up and
Yeah, you see that thing they write about running, where your heart tells you either you stop or I will. It's the same thing with hiking and your lungs.
Yes. So you reach there, you're very dizzy, you lightheaded, and you still have like maybe 2-3 kilometers to the summit, but now your body is just refusing. It's seated there and it's refusing to walk. Then you sit. So every hike comes with its own challenges.
But like I remember Mount Kenya now, when I was summiting, and it got to a point where your body just refuses. And I remember our guide showing us, it is just over here, and I could see the board, but it took me another hour, and I think it was even less than 200 meters, but it is the terrain, and your lungs,
and also the mental.
Yes, mental strength. Actually, that is key in any mountain that you decide to climb. Because I remember when I was doing Kilimanjaro, I almost gave up at Stella's Point, but I was just telling myself, I cannot have paid 80,000 and then I reach here and I'm not even going to the summit. That's not happening. So you have a lot of things you think, you actually push yourself. But when someone takes a video, then you come later on and see you're not moving. It's like a chameleon pace. Like it's one step, you pause, another step, you pause. But now when you reach the summit, it's like God rewards you with all the strength. So you feel so nice and you're like, oh my goodness, the view. You even forget you're supposed to be wearing gloves and it's snowy and it's so cold. So it's celebrating.
When you guys speak about the hike and the passion I'm seeing, I'm imagining maybe do you get the same fulfillment, for example, when you walked a journey with a patient? They started out really rocky. Their blood levels were just very high and not manageable, and then you see the success story and the fulfillment of I've helped manage this person to a level now you can see they're
yes. I think for everything else, I think as humans we like seeing something to completion and usually to a good completion. And I think there's a saying that says is it doctors cures, God heals? That one. So we don't heal, we just assist in the journey by facilitating a good environment, either through the drugs we prescribe the patient or the advice we give them, or sometimes the procedures. But it's always good when you see a patient who comes in, because for diabetes most of the patients will have this for life. But it's always good to see the patient who comes in who is not able to do anything, and then together you work together to manage, and you see the patient gets better and is able to go back to their previous life and do all the things they could do before. So yes, it is.
Amazing. I think maybe giving that briefing, do you have a patient whose journey really stuck with you? Like when they came, how it was, the challenges you are facing, and maybe the journey to success? Or, sometimes you get to see both sides. Things go badly a bad outcome, and some a good outcome. Maybe you can give us 2 scenarios where you had such.
Okay, so you get a lot of them, because unfortunately you don't always have good outcomes. They're usually those patients, especially patients with type 1 diabetes, are sometimes more challenging because they are younger patients, and sometimes you see for some of them they don't even have diabetes in their family, and getting someone young to understand this is what you're going through, you'll have to inject yourself, you can't do some things that other people are doing, or you can do them. Now we say you can do them, but you'll just have to make some adjustments that other people don't have to. But it's always good to see such a patient who comes and they take it in their stride, and they're able to inject themselves. They know how to control their sugars. They know how to do what is required, and you just see them respond responding and their sugars improving, and you just see their lives being better than when you found them. So that is always good. With patients with type 2, sometimes it's a bit easier, sometimes, because more often than not, type 2 diabetes runs in the family. So for some of them, they've already seen people in their family with diabetes. They may have an idea of what to do. So sometimes it's a bit easier, but it's usually the same thing. You see someone coming with issues, and you're able to help them sort out those issues and go back to living a fruitful, productive life. And especially when you see a lady with diabetes who doesn't know, can I conceive or not, and taking them through the journey of diabetes, through conception, managing diabetes through the pregnancy, and having a live birth. Healthy baby, healthy mother, that's also something that is always good to see.
Fulfilling.
Yes.